Boopity boop boop doo. Making pancakes. I'm making pancakes. And I think that my audio is okay, even though I'm loudly making pancakes. Okay, so I decided, here's what I decided. I have a script here on the stove, great place for a computer, and I'm making some pancakes. And yes, that's burnt. Thank you. And I just decided I am just gonna go. So here we go. So I have this goal of regularly creating videos that feel good to make for me, and that are worth watching for y'all, at least for some segment of y'all. And I'm sorting out what that means, like what the feel good means and what the worth watching means. And I'm in that space that many creators talk about. Like, I don't want to put crap out into the world, but I also know that means I'm gonna put stuff out there that I'm gonna perhaps immediately hate. And so again, it's just yet another false dichotomy that we create for ourselves. I can compulsively hone and evaluate and never share anything, or I can narcissistically and impulsively dump my thoughts out into the world. And this is, of course, the wrong question. It's a fake choice created by fear. Fear is a powerful example, by the way, of the creative power of the mind, right? For I have this entire chorus of critics and threats and trolls, these elaborate Requiem for a Dream meets Leaving Las Vegas tragic tales that spring forth of the ether to invalidate any form of expression. I don't know why such tragedy is what befalls me for making boring YouTube videos, or a little self-indulgent YouTube videos, but that's what happens. I do kind of know. That's maybe a whole other conversation, but yeah, my mom, I'm going off script. My mom was quite literally a starving artist in New York City, and her desire to create never manifested, and we were terrifically poor and unsafe for my entire childhood. So, or at least that was my experience of it. No, it's not my experience. That is what it was. So I think I have some issues with creativity and its validity and what it means about me as a person. I recently listened to a meditation with Joseph Goldstein. Hope this is okay and not too loud. And he tells this Zen story about a person who is painting a tiger. This elaborate, beautiful painting of a tiger, and with the last brush stroke, becomes very startled by the tiger he created. And it's a parable of the power of our mind to create scary images. He describes it maybe a little more eloquently, but you get the idea. Like we have these painted tigers that we can create that are very real to us, but it's just an illusion. So there's a dichotomy of puking out crap and holding it all in, and that's, of course, this false dichotomy. And the third way is, of course, the third way is deliberate practice. Again, this is another aspect of here's this pancake situation. These are, by the way, these were on sale. I cannot imagine paying retail for these. These were like 50% off and still expensive. This is like $7 retail. $7 hairs. That's about the weight of it for the price. 10 ounces. That's like So it was half that, so it's $3.50 for 10 ounces. They're like keto pancakes. Look at this. I got my reading glasses on. But these are like tactical reading glasses. Oh shit, sorry. I just moved the microphone. That's where I was hanging my microphone. Yeah, so keto pancakes, whatever. I ate like 4 bagels yesterday. I'll have keto pancakes today, whatever. I didn't have 4 bagels, I had 2 bagels. So this might get edited out, but you know what? I really just want to do this in one take, so we're going to move. The third way is, of course, deliberate practice. But yeah, so another climbing analogy, an aspect of my life that relates to climbing and also mindfulness. And they were roommates. I love my my window is right above the. Can you hear that? Here, I'll just stick my mic out the window here. Okay, that was me being nosy. I don't want to edit this. Okay. Okay, so deliberate practice. So again, this relates to mindfulness as well as rock climbing. So you've heard practice makes perfect, and perhaps you've also heard the retort to that no, practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. The practice basically reinforces what you're already doing. So, or similarly, as some old dead Greek guy once said, we are what we repeatedly do. So just whatever you're doing is what you're going to get good at, and what this old dead Greek guy was saying is that sort of defines your identity more than your thoughts about yourself. It's what you're actually doing. Dogs. So if you spend 10 hours a week flailing while you're rock climbing, while listening to podcasts and mindlessly throwing yourself at roots, you might see some gradual improvements, especially if you're younger and you're newer to climbing. But the older your training age, the more important it is to have structure and intention in your process. In writing, I'm just going to call this writing because vlogging or making videos or creating all sound like weird or pretentious to say. So in writing, showing up is critical. And with many things in my life, that is the first step to really getting the ball rolling, like showing up. Like I have a pretty consistent morning routine now where the only rule is that I just do the very first part of it, and I will be completely compassionate with myself if I just do that first part. It's all I have to do. The only rule is I show up to the first part, and 99% I do the rest. So 3 things is step outside. I do one, then I can step outside and I can come right back in, but invariably I go for a walk. I usually take this like 1 mile loop at least, or I do a couple miles, but like at least just physically leave my apartment. I come back in the house, I do 1 round of Wim Hof breathing, and I can do that at my own pace. I can do it as half-assed as I want. So the Wim Hof breathing is 30 rounds of that, and then a breath hold, and then hold for 15, and that's 1, and more or less. There are thousands of hours on that, but that is kind of the nutshell. But invariably, I want doing 3 rounds, which is about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna just physically get in the shower and turn on the cold water and just stand there for 10 seconds. And my goal is 3 minutes, and for last week I've done 3 minutes every time. So that's the only. So it's just physically leave my building, come back in the house, hyperventilate and hold my breath for as half-assed as I want to do that, and then get 10 seconds of cold water on my head. And invariably that turns into at least a mile walk, 10 minutes of Wim Hof, and a 3-minute shower. So that's just showing up. So just show up, be gentle with just doing the bare minimum, and then invariably that blooms into something more that I am and that most importantly, that outcome is something I'm like, gentle about. So, and again, that's like another mindfulness idea, this idea of beginning again. Like you just keep coming back to the beginning. So the beginning is I get up in the morning and I go outside, maybe I go for a walk. But it's just you keep beginning again. And the analogy in mindfulness is like, that's often used as like, it's like if you, this pan is a little too hot. If you were house training a dog, the dog is gonna maybe pee on the carpet, and you're gonna pick up the dog and put the dog on the pee pad. Or if you have a child and they're learning how to tie their shoelaces, they're gonna make a mistake, and then you're gonna like gently redirect them. And you do that with gentleness and kindness, unless you are a really hurt person yourself and you have hopefully you're not beating the shit out of the dog when it pees where it's not supposed to pee. Like it's a puppy, it's learning, you're going to be gentle. And we are our attention is sort of perpetual puppy. I'm a perpetual puppy with a lot of things. And so it's just being sort of infinitely gentle and patient with gently redirecting. And so it's easy, my point is, it's easier to do that with something as simple as going for a walk. Like it's the same thing every day, doing it again. And it gets trickier when you have something more complex, like doing a rock climb or writing. So, it's easier to have deliberate practice when there's structure aimed at intention with an appropriate playful / fierce spirit. Let me say that again. So it's easier to have a deliberate practice when there's a structure that's built around a certain intention, and that you move towards that intention with the appropriate amount of like playfulness and fierceness, depending upon what you're doing. I wrote practice versus performance. So like if you're just practicing, there needs to be some playfulness there, but you also need to be able to focus and try hard, and like finding that, recognizing where you are in that. And if you're too tense, being more playful, and if you're maybe a little too loose and chasing the ball of yarn, I know I switched animals in my analogy, that maybe you're getting back on track. So that is all to say, I'm not gonna edit this, at 13 minutes, that is all to say that I'm gonna do a structure going forth once a week for a month. I'm gonna answer 4 things. I'm gonna do a how we doing, media I'm consuming, and then I wrote beep boop beep, joking at myself, saying that sounds a little robotic, whatever. This week I learned, twill, I wrote it as, and questions on my mind. And so that's it. I'll be done talking about, and that'll be the next one. The next one, because I'm already at almost 14 minutes. So that's it. That's my structure. That's it. And there you go. So I'm gonna finish making pancakes. I'm gonna go rock climbing in an hour and a half. I had a lovely work weekend because I felt compelled to explain, to justify that I get to go rock climbing because I also worked. I don't know why. I don't know who that's for. I don't know if I think I don't know who that's for, but I take it back. Although I did have a fine work weekend. Okay, goodbye.